Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be doing a little bit of analysis and sharing some knowledge to help you as a buyer ensure that you're getting what you actually are paying for. So recently we purchased at auction a couple of items that were listed as marble. One of them is right there, you can see hanging on the wall, and we'll give you a close-up of that. And the other is this here, which is a companion piece to that one. Essentially the same framing, the same tondo in the middle, roundel. And these are both indicated as being marble. How do you know they are, though? Could they be cast marble, or are they actually carved stone? Cast marble, as we discussed in another video, involves taking marble dust or marble powder, mixing it with a liquid binder, such as a resin, pouring it into a mold, and then generating something that simulates the appearance of real marble. Carved marble, on the other hand, as the name suggests, is taking an actual piece of stone that's worked on by a skilled artist to produce a final sculpture. In this video, we'll be looking at certain tells or indications to reveal whether something is actual marble or cast marble. Stay tuned. This is a tondo of a piece by Edward William Wyon, W-Y-O-N. It depicts Oberon, who is the king of the fairies, and Titania, who is the queen of the fairies, and is seen from the Midsummer's Night's Dream. And here Oberon is taking the juice from a flower and sprinkling it on the eyes of the sleeping Titania as essentially a trick and a love potion in that famous scene from Shakespeare's play. It's a nicely depicted piece. It's got a lot of detail in terms of the botanicals, the foliage, and the characters. So we're going to check out some features that show whether this is a cast marble or a carved marble. It's marketed in various ways. It's carved marble, reconstituted marble, composition. So there are a number of different ways this is described online, and we're going to determine what it is now. If you want to skip to the end and find out without going through the steps, without going through the process, go to the video description and click on the timestamp for the reveal. Otherwise, we'll walk through it. So first, in terms of it being an actual carved marble, one argument is that this is an older piece. And you could say that if you look at the frame, it's not a modern frame. It looks somewhat dirty. It has two different colors to it. It's got this sort of Art Nouveau-ish aesthetic, period 19th century French style to the frame. So if it's old, then it would be carved marble, since cast marbles weren't created until the invention of resins and other synthetic liquid binders, and into which marble powder could be poured. So if it's from the 19th century authentically, then it wouldn't be cast, because they didn't have that ability to do cast marbles the same way. If you look at the back as well, you have some rusty nails here twisted to hold in the piece, kind of a homemade way of doing it, which you do find a lot on old paintings. So those are signs that this might be an old piece, and therefore a carved marble. If you touch it, it's moderately cold. It's not super cold, which suggests it could be marble because of the coldness, cold stone. If I tap on it, it doesn't have a real ping to it, but real marble doesn't either. It's a little bit dull in terms of the feel. It feels kind of plasticky, and it doesn't really have any type of pinging to it. That would suggest maybe it is cast. It does have veining. You can see there a black streak, which looks like a vein in marble, and along the leg you'll see a few lines here. This could be a sign of real marble because, as we said, marble has veins, or it could be something that someone dipped a brush or a stick into the liquid using black pigment and then sort of dragged it across in various areas to simulate carved marble. The fact that the veining doesn't really continue across and it's all in one section might imply that this is a cast marble rather than carved marble. If you look closely here, you will see the presence of some sparkles. Let's see if we can catch that in the light. See a bit of a sparkle on the knees there, and that suggests the presence of marble for sure. Marble is a sparkly stone. If you look at authentic marble, it definitely has that sparkling quality. So we can say safely that there is marble in it. Whether that is whether it's an actual piece of marble or it's marble powder, marble dust, poured into a mold is still open to debate. If we look at the back is not entirely smooth and flat. So if this were cast in a mold, a lot of times people would smooth the back completely. They take a stick or something and level it off. This one has pitting, it has dings and such, which makes it look like real marble. It also has an embedded coin or medallion in it, and the way the medallion is placed here, and it doesn't have there's not a smooth edge. And if it were entirely cast, they would maybe smooth the edge out and embed the coin into the liquid, or when it's partially dry. Here the edge is rough, which would imply perhaps that it carved out of the stone and they stuck the medallion in there. A con of that, or a sign that this may not be an actual marble, is that I've never really seen this sort of coin being placed into a carved piece. I have seen it in cast pieces. If you look at Ancient Home, or if you look at Sculptured Art Studio in Britain, they sell cast marble pieces, and they always have an embedded coin in the back. So that's a sign that it might be cast. Let's turn it back around. Probably an issue that makes you think this is a cast piece is that it's really thin, and there's a lot of carving done in it, a lot of detail, a lot of carving. For a thin piece of marble to be carved this well is extremely difficult. Without breaking through, cracking it, and so forth. That's why you don't really see a lot of carved marble pieces that are super thin. If you think of sculpture that's made of marble, even relief sculpture, it's at least say 3 inches thick or something like that. It's not thin like this, which is roughly maybe half an inch thick altogether inside the frame. So that would imply that something that's been poured. Because once you're carving at it with a chisel and such, to get this fine detail in a thin piece of marble would be extremely challenging, if not impossible. But the biggest giveaway that this is a cast marble is that there are so many pieces like this out there, and they're all exactly similar or exactly alike. If someone carves a piece of marble, there's no way that a sculptor can do an exact job as every other piece that's out there. That's why if you look at a Canova sculpture, and you look at a copy of a Canova, the faces are never exactly like Canova. Each sculptor has their own touch. Even if they try to imitate it exactly, they will not succeed in getting the face 100% the same each time. But if you look at these pieces online, in plaster, in cast pieces, even in bronze, right, they're all the same in terms of the face, in terms of the exact detailing of the vegetation, and that is frankly impossible to do with while carving. So we can determine then that this is a cast piece, and the biggest tell again is if it's exactly the same. You find it in multiple places, and the details are the same, the faces are the same. It is a nice piece, and you can see definitely worth having in your home. But just realize that it's not carved. So those are some tips for looking at pieces and determining whether they're cast marble or carved marble. This one did a solid job of making the frame look kind of aged. Like I said, they did have marble powder in here, which gives it the sparkle. They did swirl some black pigment in there to add the appearance of veining. And even on the back, like I showed you, they made it rough and they carved it out a little bit to give it an appearance of authenticity, but ultimately it is a cast piece. If you found that useful, subscribe and follow us to get more videos on antiques and art. Like the video as well, and we'll see you next time.